Welcome back to The Weekend. I'm Ed Kalegi. My next guest has invented over 150 distinctive food items, which grace store shelves nationwide. And according to the U.S. Patent Office, he is also the official inventor of Pizza Hut's famous Stuffed Crust Pizza. He is the CEO of Mongiello Cheese, the well-known national and international specialty food brand, which has won several prestigious industry awards for its various products and best-tasting cheeses in the category. They call him the Big Cheese. It is great to say hello to Anthony Mongiello. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
You got it. We're going to talk about several lessons entrepreneurs can learn from your journey, but I have to start with this. Anthony, what was the thought process behind deciding to stuff the crust of a pizza?
Like they say, all great inventions, they happen by accident. And that's what this was. I was making a pizza for a friend of mine, and I bought dough from a bakery, and they looked a little bit too small to me. So I put the two doughs together, and by the time I was done, I had a raw crust as thick as a cooked crust.
Wow.
So I put it in the oven, and as it baked, it blew up. And I had like a calzone or a zeppoli all around my pizza. As I bit into it, Ed, I said, wow, if there was something inside here, that would be great. And that's really how Stuffed Crust Pizza was made.
And thus the world was changed. And you know, it's funny because when you really think about it, a lot of things that take off are kind of discovered on the fly, on the spot, or by accident. It's quite funny how that works sometimes, isn't it?
It is. It's very true. And it's because, you know what, we do our best to try and set out to change the market if we're in a specific market. But most of the time, accidents happen in and during that R&D, and that's what creates great items.
Sure. As CEO of Mongiello Cheese, you thrive within a very competitive sector, and you have targeted 7 tips for success, not only in your industry, but concepts which really apply in all aspects of business. So what we're going to do is I'll introduce each one, and if you would kind of stuff the crust of each one of these so we can kind of get a better idea as to how you feel about these things. The first one, blending tradition with innovation.
Yeah, it's really important that you have, if you do have a tradition, right, you want to bring that tradition to market. And what I do is I try and create products in my own tradition, meaning the Italian cheese industry, that have never been seen before. Mm-hmm. So I take tradition and I pair it with innovation. When I'm talking about a product, I want to take products to the next level. You know, I want to walk the stores and look for the voids, and I want to find products that will help keep categories alive and thriving.
So that kind of leads into the second one about identifying market gaps. You got to see what's not out there. The key is whoever can fill the need first is going to win by filling that need first.
Absolutely. Like I said, walk the stores and I look for the voids. I try and figure what's another way I can create fresh mozzarella products for people to enjoy, to enjoy them in a way that they've never seen before. So I look and I try and identify the voids, but I also look and identify trends. What's happening? An example would be charcuterie. Charcuterie has been a word that's been really on fire for the last, let's say, 5 to 8 years. Well, I built a lot around that type of product line known as charcuterie, and that's, again, identifying the trends in the market.
You're dealing with something, an entity, cheese, that's been around ever since somebody first got a good hold of a cow, and you're able to kind of take that to the next step, so you always have to be thinking forward. It's constantly a game of chess, is it not? You always have to be anticipating what your next move is.
You have to. You have to be prepared for how you're going to take these products to the next level. Mm-hmm. It's very important to do that.
Business is filled with challenges every single day, every single hour, every single moment. So, Anthony, the third in your 7 tips for business success, persisting in the face of challenges.
You know, there's always a lot of challenges in business, and anybody that's in business knows that, because we must remember, if it was easy to be in business, everybody would be in business, but it's not, and it's because of those challenges that we face. Now, a lot of challenges, like with my Stuffed Crust Pizza, they came with people trying to tell me, oh, that's a pretty simple idea. I'm sure somebody's already come out with that. Listen, the best advice I can give is you have to believe in yourself and your ideas. But the important thing is when you are faced with challenges, you must remain calm. As a businessman, when things happen in my business, and it's a large business, over 300 plus employees, things go wrong every day. But I realized that in order for me to be able to handle what happened and to fix the problem, I must stay calm. I cannot be emotional. When the going gets tough, the tough have to get going. We have to face our fears. We can't look the other way. We have to believe in ourselves and our ideas. And if we continue down that path, we'll get through the challenges that we face, and we will be victorious.
And I'm glad you said that, because everyone always says live for the moment. But if you're in business, you can't just live for the moment, because if you do that, you kind of lose the forest between the trees, because like you said, there's bad stuff that happens all the time. And if you're going to obsess by every little speed bump that comes down the road, you're not going to be able to get to where you're going. So if you're obsessing over bad stuff, you can't be ready for the good stuff.
That's exactly right. It's a very good point to make.
Now, the next one, innovating to create a legacy, especially when you're in a sector such as yourself and you have a lot of brands, you have a lot of competition. You need to do something to set yourself apart so that your brand, in this case for Mongiello, is something that's going to have that legacy, something that's going to be known, respected, and it's going to last.
That's such a true statement. I want to tell you how I can support that statement. We do an international food show every year called the IDDBA, International Dairy Deli Bakery Association. When the buyers of all the stores, whether it's Sam's Club, Costco, whether it's Walmart, whether it's Aldi's, or even a local store chain, comes to our booth, the first words out of their mouth are, hey guys, what's new for this year? It's important to introduce new products, as I've stated, but you got to be first. If you're not first to market with that new product, essentially you're going to be last. And what we've done is we've created this niche for ourselves in the market. And anybody that does that could be successful. See, I sell fresh mozzarella products, but unlike any of my competitors, I'm in the specialty end of the business. I'm not afraid of manual labor. I'm not afraid of hands-on manufacturing of good quality items. And that's what the people look for when they come to us. The innovative aspect of how we're going to introduce fresh mozzarella in a whole new way to the people.
And I love this next one, leveraging family heritage. I think that's so very important when you have a brand, and a brand that stretches back through your family's lineage. Talk to me, Anthony, about leveraging family heritage.
It's really important to do that. In fact, I had a woman in my office, let's say about a month ago, and she represented a company that's worth over $20 billion. I mean, they're so successful, it's incredible. But she's talking to me, and she starts to talk to me about the business and the family heritage. And she wants to create a story to be able to tell people, because she's entering into a new part of the market. And I said to her, listen, all I do when I go on a sales call, and I'm not a salesman, I talk from my heart, and that people can see all the time. But the important thing is I explain to them how and why I'm in this business, how and why my family story makes sense for you to want to buy this product from me. So I tell them about my grandfather. He wasn't a cheesemaker. I tell them about my dad, who wasn't a cheesemaker, but both worked in the Italian cheese industry from the aspect of machinery and how the apple doesn't fall far from that proverbial tree. And I'm in the cheese business. But a family story is very hard and important to bring out. Why? Because you want to explain to your audience, whether it's a buyer for a store or it's just your customer base, why they should believe in you and the products you're selling. And a family heritage will always bring that across the line.
True. It is the utmost in tradition. The next one, we've kind of talked about it already, but I want to go a little deeper. Diversify and expand. You expanded your fresh mozzarella cheese category from 5 to 65 items. And if that doesn't teach the value of diversification, Anthony, I don't know what does.
We have to diversify in our market. Look, the market can become stagnant. And what happens is that's when people are no longer interested. They walk by the shelves and they see the same product day after day, week after week, year after year. You can't allow that to happen. If you want to succeed in business, you have to always change with the times, change with your demographics, understand exactly who your customer base is, but come up with fresh products and new ideas and new concepts on a regular basis. And what I call it keeping the category alive and never allow for stagnation to set in.
I think it's great because it kind of dovetails two different things. We talked about tradition and lineage. As soon as I heard that you were coming on the show and I heard Formaggio, I could see your label in my mind. I've seen it so many times. I know what your product looks like, but when you can diversify and when you expand and you go from 5 up to 65, it creates in the store a true oh wow moment for a customer, especially someone who has used and is very familiar with your products, because it's like going down to Disney World. Hey, look at that new ride. It's like, hey, look, Formaggio has a new cheese. So you're kind of keeping the best of what was, but you're blending it with what is and what will be.
Absolutely. And it's very important to do that.
The last one is staying customer-centric. And I would imagine you could argue that this is perhaps the most important of all 7 of these principles.
It really is. What's important is we all have to understand our demographics. Who is our target audience? I make products, and I urge everybody to make products that are what I call consumer-friendly and user-friendly items. Men work, women work, everybody's very busy. And it's important for me to create items where everybody that's busy can still have the quality, flavor that comes with my Formaggio branded product. So they never compromise whenever they pick up a Formaggio item. A value-added item is an item that will indeed make a consumer's life a little bit easier. And these are the things that I keep in mind when I'm creating new items. If I make them consumer friendly, if I understand my demographics in creating my items, I'm going to succeed. If you don't take all of these points into consideration, and you're in the business I'm in or anything like it, you could fail. Yeah. You have to understand your customer base. Because you are in a ridiculously competitive business, and you have to be able to realize that every single day. One more question. If there is one thing that is the most enjoyable or the most rewarding in what you do, what would that be? It's the facial expression on a person that I see taste my product for the first time. It's the utmost satisfaction anybody could ever want. See, I'm an artist in my own right, and my cheese is my canvas. In creating all these different products, I need to know that people really do enjoy them, love them, and appreciate the quality. And it's the facial expression. Because you know why? Facial expression doesn't lie. That's right. It's a reaction. That's right. And that's what I look for. There is one phrase from this entire conversation that's going to stick with me, not just for today, but tomorrow and probably the rest of the week. And that is, my cheese is my canvas. I like that very much. That's good, Anthony. That's quite a calling card. I love that very much. Well, you can learn much more about all things Formaggio cheese at their website, which is formaggiocheese.com. Anthony Mongiello, CEO of Formaggio Cheese. I've enjoyed this. Thanks for joining me here on The Weekend. Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here. You got it. Stay with us. More to come. I'm Ed Kalegi, and this is The Weekend.